Hello, I'm Dr. Sarah Williams here in the UK. Many people over 60 take their blood pressure tablets faithfully, yet their readings stay stubbornly high. In my clinical work, I see patients doing everything they're told, eating carefully, walking more, and still feeling worried every time they check their numbers. What often gets missed is that blood pressure isn't controlled by the heart alone, and adding more medication doesn't always solve the real problem. Today, I want to show you a simple, medically grounded idea that involves your legs, something most people have never been taught.
You wake up in the morning with that familiar heavy sensation in your head, maybe a stiff neck or a brief wave of dizziness that seems to appear without warning. You take your blood pressure medication exactly as your doctor prescribed. You try to do everything right, yet every time you sit down at the blood pressure machine at CVS or Walgreens, the numbers stare back at you. 150, 160, sometimes even higher. It's frustrating, it's unsettling. And after 60, many of us live with that quiet concern about the so-called silent killer, a stroke, a heart attack, wondering if the next spike will be the one that changes everything. Most people hear the same advice again and again: we may need to raise your dose, and you should walk more. But what if I told you that one of the quickest ways to help calm your blood pressure isn't in your chest, not in your arms, and not in another pill bottle? It's in your legs. Modern cardiology and rehabilitation medicine now refer to something called your second heart, a powerful pump hidden in your calves and thighs that most of us have almost completely shut down. In this video, I'm going to show you a simple leg routine you can do right in your living room, including one wall exercise that clinical studies have shown can lower blood pressure more effectively than traditional cardio when done correctly and consistently. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll know exactly how to start using your legs to protect your heart. Before we jump into the exercises, I want to learn a little about you. In the comments, tell me 3 things: where you're watching from, your age, and the blood pressure reading that really made you stop and think. I read as many comments as I can, because your story might help another grandparent somewhere feel less alone with their numbers. If you're new here, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm a physician in the United States, and for many years I've worked primarily with adults over 60, dealing with high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and the very real fear of losing independence. I've sat beside patients after a stroke. I've walked alongside people in cardiac rehab as they took their first steps after a heart attack. And I've also had the privilege of seeing people in their 70s and 80s garden, travel, and play with their grandchildren, even though their chart still says hypertension. What surprised me, and many of my colleagues, is that the difference between these two groups was rarely just a new medication or a fancy treatment. More often, it came down to one simple factor: whether they were using their legs as a second heart or letting that powerful pump stay inactive. Let me explain what that means, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Picture your body like a tall apartment building in New York or Chicago. Your heart is the main water pump on the roof. Its job is to send fresh, oxygen-rich blood down through all the floors to the lobby and basement. Your feet. Pushing blood downward is actually the easy part. Gravity helps. The real challenge, the hard work your circulation does every second, is bringing that blood back up from the basement to the roof. When you're 20 or 30, the pipes are flexible, the valves work well, and the extra pumps in your legs are strong because you're moving constantly. But after 60, life changes. We sit more, in the car, at the computer, in front of the TV. The heart on the roof works harder. The arteries stiffen like old garden hoses left too long in the sun. And those powerful pumps in your calves and thighs? Most days, they barely do anything. So what happens? Blood begins to pool in the ankles and lower legs. Your feet feel heavy, swollen, maybe cold. The heart senses that less blood is returning and responds the only way it knows how: by squeezing harder. That creates higher pressure inside stiff vessels. This is one reason blood pressure can remain stubbornly high even when you take your medication and try to walk more. No one ever taught you how to turn your second heart back on. Here's the good news: you don't need a gym membership, a treadmill, or an expensive smartwatch to change this. You can retrain your second heart using nothing more than a wall, a sturdy chair, and a few minutes of focused leg work at home. In a moment, I'll guide you through 4 simple leg exercises that work together like a circulation circuit. First, we'll free up the ankles, where blood flow often gets restricted. Next, will wake up the large muscles in your thighs so they can pull sugar and fat out of your bloodstream. Then, we'll activate the calf pump, your true second heart. Finally, we'll finish with one powerful wall exercise that studies show can lower resting blood pressure more effectively than traditional cardio when done properly and consistently. We'll start with exercise number 4 because it looks almost too simple, yet it's the one I want every person over 60 to do each morning. I call it the ankle gate opener. Most people ignore their ankles until something goes wrong. But from a circulation standpoint, the ankle is a tight and unusual area. It's mostly bone, tendon, and skin, with very little muscle. Still, every major artery and vein traveling to and from your foot must pass through this narrow space. With age and prolonged sitting, that joint stiffens like a rusty hinge. You step out of bed, place your feet on the floor, and it feels like walking on blocks of wood. That stiffness acts like a clamp on the blood vessels. When the ankle gate is rigid, blood struggles to move in and out of your feet. This is why many people say their feet are always cold or tingle and burn at night. It's often not just nerves, it's circulation combined with a neglected joint. Here's what to do. Sit upright in a sturdy chair, not slouched. You can also do this lying on your back in bed. Lift one foot off the floor. If comfortable, rest that ankle on the opposite knee. Imagine a pen taped to your big toe and a large whiteboard in front of you. Your goal is to draw the largest, smoothest circle possible. Slowly pull your toes toward your shin, sweep them out to the side, point them downward, then bring them back around. That's one slow circle. Do 10 circles clockwise, then 10 counterclockwise. Switch legs and repeat. You may hear light pops or clicks. As long as there's no sharp pain, that's usually harmless, just a stiff joint waking up. When you're done, pause and notice if your feet feel warmer or more alive, maybe with a slight buzzing in your calves. That warmth is fresh blood flowing through a gate you've just opened. Now we move to exercise number 3, the sit to stand. If the ankles open the gate, this move wakes up the engines, your thighs and glutes. And if independence matters to you, being able to stand up on your own is a skill worth protecting. In clinic, I see people relying more and more on their arms, tables, or even other people to stand. Over time, leg muscles shrink. When that happens, insulin resistance increases, sugar and fat linger in the blood, circulation thickens, and the heart works harder. The reverse is also true. Controlled standing and sitting turns your thigh muscles into sponges that absorb sugar and fat for fuel, easing pressure on your vessels. Set up with a sturdy chair, ideally against a wall. Sit near the front edge, feet flat and hip-width apart. Lean forward slightly and press. Through your heels to stand, breathing out as you rise. Stand tall, then slowly lower yourself back down as quietly as possible. That slow descent builds strength. Use support if needed, but aim to rely on your legs. Start with 10 reps, rest a minute, then do another 10. Done daily, this makes everyday movements easier and reduces strain on both your heart and your family. Next is exercise number 2, the one that targets your second heart directly, your calves. If your ankles swell or your legs feel heavy by day's end, this is for you. Deep veins in your calves store blood and contain one-way valves. Blood tends to settle there, especially when you sit or stand still. Every time you rise onto your toes, your calf muscles squeeze those veins like wringing out a sponge, pushing blood upward. The valves close behind it, returning more blood to your heart with less effort. Over time, this means your heart doesn't need to squeeze as hard, which helps lower blood pressure. Stand behind a sturdy chair or counter, fingertips resting lightly for balance. Keep your knees straight but relaxed. Slowly lift your heels as high as comfortable, pause for a count of 2 while squeezing your calves, then lower down slowly. That's 1 repetition. Aim for 3 sets of 15, resting briefly between sets. Start with fewer if needed, and build up. Later, you can progress to single leg raises. You should feel warmth and fatigue in your calves, not sharp pain. Stop immediately if you feel chest discomfort, severe cramping, or unusual shortness of breath. This exercise fits easily into daily life. While brushing teeth or waiting for coffee, think of each set as your legs telling your heart, "We've got this." Now we reach exercise number 1, the most powerful move in this routine. If you remember only one exercise, let it be this, the wall sit. Though it looks simple, research shows this type of isometric leg work can lower resting blood pressure more effectively than walking when done regularly. When you hold a wall sit, your thigh muscles stay engaged, briefly limiting blood flow. Your brain senses lower oxygen and prepares a response. When you stand back up, blood rushes in, triggering the release of nitric oxide, a natural vessel relaxer. Nitric oxide signals arteries to relax and widen, which lowers blood pressure. To do it safely, stand with your back against a wall, feet hip-width apart, and about 16 to 20 inches forward. Slide down slowly as if sitting on an invisible chair. You don't need to go low. 6 to 8 inches is enough for most people over 60. Knees should stay over ankles, not past toes. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing steadily. Do not hold your breath. When time's up, press lightly and slide back up. Walk around and notice the warmth and mild shaking in your legs. That's strength building. Over time, work up to 45 to 60 seconds. Stop immediately if you feel chest pain, severe dizziness, or knee pain, and talk to your doctor if you have major health concerns. Let's bring it all together. Ankle circles open the gates at the bottom, freeing stiff joints so blood can move easily. Sit to stand, strengthen your thighs and hips, improving circulation and independence. Calf raises activate your second heart, pushing blood back toward your chest. Wall sits trigger nitric oxide, signaling your arteries to relax. Medication is essential for many people, and I'm not asking you to stop it, but pills alone can't retrain stiff joints, weak muscles, or inactive leg pumps, and casual walking often isn't enough to rebuild what aging and sitting have taken away in just 15 to 20 minutes. This routine supports your blood pressure from the ground up, turning your legs into your heart's strongest allies. Start simply. Days 1 and 2, ankle circles and sit to stands. Days 3 and 4, add calf raises. By the end of the week, try a gentle wall sit. This video doesn't replace your doctor. Please talk with them before making changes. We want you safer, not braver. In the comments, tell me which exercise you'll start with, 1, 2, 3, or 4. If you want more science-based, low-impact routines for life after 60, subscribe and turn on notifications. And please share this with someone who struggles with high blood pressure. A few minutes of leg work today could be the quiet change that keeps them out of the ER tomorrow.